My name is Greg Lindblad with Wesco. I am Senior Director of Sales within our Communications and Security Solutions organization. Thank you to Brent, Joey, Andy, everyone for pulling this together. I think it's been a really great event. Enjoyed meeting with a lot of you so far today. Going to talk a little bit about Wesco. In the relationship with Stone, we've been partnered, I think, pretty much back to the beginning, so close to 2 decades. We're very proud to be a premier partner of theirs. They have won a variety of top integrator awards from Wesco over the years as well. I would just say that, the word Stone security within Wesco is synonymous with, loyalty and partnership and teamwork, and along with what all the other suppliers have been saying. So it's a wonderful relationship. I'm going to talk a little bit about who Wesco is, where we come from, what we do, and how we can fit into the landscape of your businesses. I think I've got a little intro video to get started.
Most of us expect life to run smoothly, but we don't stop to think about what it takes to make that happen. Most of us don't have to. We forget about the people up and moving before our alarms go off. The people behind the innovation and logistics, the creativity and the know-how. The people who connect rural communities with essential services, who work tirelessly to build, connect, power, and protect our lives. But the world isn't always predictable, and unexpected challenges demand creative solutions. We rely on those willing to brave intense environments and gather the resources that fuel our daily lives. We don't have to wonder about the ins and outs of life, because that is what Wesco does. We provide innovative supply chain solutions every hour, every day, all around the globe. Our people roll up their sleeves and help create a world you can depend on, focusing on the details, the challenges, and the unexpected, so that you can live life uninterrupted. Wesco. Ingenuity delivered.
Perfect. I always wish I had his voice. So I'm going to spend a little time today talking about Wesco at a very high level, and then kind of drill into our communications and security solutions business, which I think applies most directly to a lot of people that are in the room today, and then just talk about some of the trends and things that we're seeing in the industry. So we're truly a very global organization. We have, you can see, close to 20,000 people around the world, 25 million square feet of real estate across 50 plus countries. We can do business and support our suppliers, our partners, and our customers in over 100 countries around the world. You can see some other numbers here. Some of you, Wesco was founded more than 100 years ago. I don't know if many people know that. The name comes from Westinghouse. We were actually the distribution arm of Westinghouse Electric and Manufacturing, and those roots go back to the late 1800s. Wesco was more formally put together the way that it is in the early 1920s. Over the decades have been involved in the early days of electrification to kind of the current, more recent decades of digitalization. Originally headquartered in New York City, moved to Pittsburgh in the 50s, IPO in 99, and since that time have gone through some rapid expansion, both organically as well as through acquisitions. I think probably close to 20 acquisitions. The big one that some of you may be familiar with was in 2020 when Wesco acquired Annixter International, which is where I came from. I have about 10 years with the combined companies. And that doubled the size of Wesco as a company. So at the time, the combined company in 2020 was about a $17 billion company, and it really added global scale and global capabilities. Traditional Wesco, people may be familiar with them more from an electrical and industrial and construction kind of business, utility business, North American based. Anixter was always known more on the communication side, security, global. You can see we've been in certain parts of the world, going all the way back to the 1970s. This is what the new company looks like and how we kind of break it into 3 different business units. And it's really put together that way to address secular trends that we see, from electrification to smart grid modernization, to huge demands, increased demands for power generation. We're seeing AI-driven data center growth. Quang was talking a little bit about automation and IoT, right? And so we've structured our business to go after the markets that are exposed to those secular trends. What are we? We're a distributor. We're a business-to-business distributor and logistics company, but that's just kind of fundamental to what we do. We're really a supply chain solutions provider, a tech-enabled supply chain solutions provider, right? So we've talked about digitalization, digital transformation, right? We're heavily invested in that. We have been for several years, and we take technology and services and wrap that around our distribution and logistics businesses to underpin our supplier partner and our channel partners to deliver what their customers ultimately need. Serving a lot of the Fortune 500 customers. I think we probably have about 90 of the top 100 Fortune 500 customers, or Fortune 100 customers, and that's across all 3 business units. A little more detail, UBS is our utility business, utility and broadband solutions. It's a North American-based business. EES is our electrical and electronic solutions, and then CSS is communication and security solutions. Quick snapshot of the portfolio that we have. We have a deep and innovative portfolio across to serve those markets across those 3 SBUs. Leading industry brands, several of them are here today. And our goal is to provide seamless end-to-end support, from concept to design to deployment. Ultimately, what we say, our mission is to build, connect, power, and protect valuable assets and critical infrastructure. So I'm going to double click on communications and security solutions, which is what everyone's probably most familiar with. And the organization today looks very similar to the historic, or I should say the legacy Anixter International. The goal of CSS is to deliver comprehensive solutions that provide 24/7, 365 connectivity. And I'll get a little bit more into that again in a slide or two, but that's really a secular trend that we're seeing today. And we break our business into 3 end markets: security business, the infrastructure business, and then our data center business. And we're seeing tremendous growth, tremendous double-digit growth within the data center space right now, driven by the demand for AI. It's the most international of the businesses that we have, with close to 35% of the business operating outside the US. So I like this slide. It's a heavy slide. Somebody used that reference earlier today. There's a lot going on this slide, and I'll try not to spend too much time on it. But on the top half of it, you're seeing the primary markets that CSS serves. It's close to $300 billion worth of available market. From our perspective, what's interesting, though, is the secular trends that I was talking about kind of cut across and are driving change, a rapid pace of change across all these different technology areas, from data centers, enterprise infrastructure, physical security, in-building wireless, and then AV we find to be very adjacent to our physical security business, and so we list that there as well. Quang was talking about IT and OT convergence, essentially, and that we're seeing this integration between traditional network systems, IT systems, and a whole host of operational technologies, from building platforms, HVAC systems, energy systems, electrical systems, lighting systems, physical security systems, right? And they all have their own bespoke operating systems, right? And so we're starting to see that convergence where they're riding on traditional network systems, which comes with its challenges. First and foremost, cybersecurity. A lot of the operational technology devices are not up to speed when it comes to security the way that it is on the IT side. So that's rapidly changing. But it's really driving the opportunity for new use cases and business drivers as we can gather data across all these different platforms. And it's leading to more smart edge networks. It's leading to the proliferation of sensors, right? We're talking about sensors all the time now. We're talking about cameras as more than just a video surveillance and loss prevention camera, but a visual sensor that can gather all kinds of data. When you take all that and then you layer on top of it analytics and the power of AI, which I'll agree with Quang, it's here today. And we're seeing, there's some metrics here on how rapidly we're seeing AI become a part of the systems that we're involved in. It's really driving data creation, data distribution, and data consumption in a way that requires 365, 24/7, 365 connectivity. Just to double click a little bit and go further into security, these are the kind of application areas within security that we offer services and solutions around. Access control and video surveillance, I would say, are seeing rapid change as a result of this IT and OT convergence and the use of analytics and AI, and then also fire and safety, intrusion, and others. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out some of the key supplier partners. Our supplier partners are the lifeblood of our organization. We wouldn't exist without them. And we have a really good synergy between the supplier partners that Stone Security leads with and that are premier brands for Wesco. Just a quick snapshot of our customer segments. We really segment how we approach our customers. We have different organizations that support different types of integrators and contractors, and then we do the same thing from a vertical market specialization. And we have teams that specialize in and understand different types of end markets, from the data center space to other types of technology and high tech, financial institutions, retail, etc. I like this slide. This really kind of tries to encapsulate what we're doing as far as driving value into the supply chain. We think it's our responsibility to understand the needs and the drivers of our end user customers. There are, certainly financial drivers and needs around working capital and cash flow. There are regulatory concerns and drivers. There's certainly risk. There's competitiveness. There's, helping customers with speed to market. So we really try to understand what the end customers' drivers and needs are, and then wrap around services and solutions with our suppliers and with our channel partners to deliver less risk, to help customers save time, to manage efficiencies, etc. This is a big differentiator for Wesco. I talked earlier about being a tech-enabled supply chain solutions provider. We have deep technical expertise and domain expertise. We have close to 200 engineers around the world that work with our suppliers and work with our channel partners to co-innovate, to offer advisory services, to help with, designs and proof of concepts. We have some labs, as does Stone Security. We work together to solve problems in those facilities. And ultimately deliver value to the customer. We also have end-to-end supply chain services. So we have technology services, the advisory services that I spoke about, and then we have other types of supply chain services. Some of them, I used to call them simple services. I think that's what we used to call them. Now we call them installation enhancement services. These are just things that we can do to help our channel partners be as efficient as possible. We have project deployment services. I know that Brent was talking about the expansion of their business now to, around the world, right? So we can work with Stone Security to help them deploy complex projects that might have multiple types of technology in multiple places around the world where there are different technical standards or needs. We can get product where it needs to be on time and in the right place. And then we have full supply chain programs where we might actually step in. This is something that's traditionally done more within our utility business, but we're starting to see a shift into CSS where we might actually step in and help operationally, and underpin what our channel partners are delivering to their customers. And then a whole host of financial services. So really everything that I talked about kind of boils down to three things, right? It's around mitigating risk and strengthening the resiliency of the supply chain. I think we all experienced challenges during the pandemic when it came to the supply chain. People are much more interested in talking about supply chain post-pandemic than, 5 or 6 years ago. And it's, things are changing rapidly. Manufacturers are preparing in different ways as far as how they source components, and we're seeing a lot of nearshoring and reshoring back to North America, which I think is a good thing. And it's about improving productivity, okay? Reducing non-value added repetitive tasks, right? Really about operational efficiencies in the process of getting product from the manufacturer all the way to ultimately where it needs to be installed and integrated, and then ultimately increasing the profitability of the customer in those deployments. Quick partner success story. I've talked about complex projects and deployments, things like that, but the reason that I like this one is it shows that while we've got a global reach and we can do some really complex things on a global scale, sometimes you just got to roll up your sleeves and work together as a team and get something done quickly. This was a global Fortune 100 customer that contacted Wesco. We do quite a bit of work with them, but we were not involved in this project. They called us and said, we need 120 cameras, 13 switches, and some infrastructure, peripheral type devices, and we need it in 4 hours. Otherwise, we're not going to have the installation done in time, and we're going to start getting fined by tomorrow morning. So the teams came together. We contacted Stone Security. I believe that this was a new customer that Stone was not engaged in at the time. They were in the right place. We rolled up our sleeves. We were able to pull together the material that they needed. We were able to do some kind of last minute, POE calculations and design work around the network, get the product there on time, and it was a success. So I just think it's important, again, we can do things on a big global scale. Sometimes it's about just rolling up your sleeves locally and getting something where it needs to be on time. So we're very good at that as well. This is just some cool pictures of that day. And I think ultimately we were delivering product in the back of Scott's SUV to either Stone or to the security site. I'm just going to touch on this for a second because I think Rob is maybe going to come up next and talk about it in more detail. Hopefully most of you are already familiar with this. If not, I think you can look out the window and there might be some over there. This is a super cool solution that Stone has developed. It's a mobile trailer for remote applications. You've probably all seen them sometimes in parking lots at commercial sites, construction sites. There's a lot of different reasons why you may need this type of technology, cameras, other sensors, environmental sensors in a remote location. This is a really premium product. It's rugged, it's robust. I don't want to get into it too much, but again, it's got some really cool technology, pneumatic telescoping masts. The solar panels are bifacial, so it can actually draw energy off of the reflection on snow, right? So there's just some really cool technology. And we worked with them to source all of that material. A lot of different types of technology. Again, we have a large physical security distribution and supply chain business, but then we're heavy into electrical and other types of product as well. And so we work closely to source all that material. We get the product, manage the inventory, get it to them. Stone integrates it, sells it to their customers. They also sell it back to us, and we get it out through other markets as well. So it's been a really cool partnership on this one. And with that, I think I probably went pretty quick. I don't know if I'm ahead of schedule, but I want to thank everybody for their time. I want to thank Stone Security for having us here. Please think about us when you're thinking about the landscape of your business, right? And supply chain resiliency, making sure that things are going to be where they need to be, on time, deployed around the world, under budget, right? We help solve problems. So thank you for your time. And I'm going to hand it over to Rob, I believe.